Well, here we go. Time to get one with Indie on 94.3 Radio 1. We support original music performed by our brilliant homegrown Indian talent. This week, we've got a chosen one. His name is Raghav Meattle. We've had him on the show many times before. Never, ever, ever tire of his music. Welcome right back. How you doing?
Thank you so much. I think you are one of the few radio stations which really support independent music, and you've constantly done that even before it was cool to do. So I just want to say a big thank you to everybody in your team who has always supported independent music. I've been good dealing with it, hanging in there, keeping myself busy. That's about it.
Yeah. Coming to that, Raghav, we've been chatting on and off over the last year and a half. It's ever since the pandemic hit. It's been cruel. It's been devastating to the, artistic tribe, to musicians, to artists. There's no live gigs, no live audiences, but I have to say that it has given rise to so much creativity and so much of innovation within that whole space. Do you want to talk to us about that?
Yeah, I think it's been hard, but at the same time, it also gives you time to just stop and think, which sometimes it gets really hard, right? You're just playing gig after gig, you're trying to make ends meet, and you really don't think about what's next and what's in the future, right? I think that's what I did, and a lot of other musicians sort of just took that time to write more music, get better at their craft. I think one of the things I've really invested in this year is sort of getting my home setup ready. So now I've been collaborating so much with so many other musicians. In fact, I'd never done a song with anybody else. But now I'm literally sitting and singing on people's tracks. I just did a song with Nikhil. I did another track a couple of months ago. So it's become really easy because now you can just do it from home, right? And earlier it was about like, oh, can I fly to your city and then sort of record in your studio? And you always thought that that's what you needed to be in the same physical space. And now we've just sort of adapted to that, and now everybody seems to be just collaborating digitally. The other thing is also with my kind of music, it was always tier 1 cities, right? It was always Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore. Suddenly, because I'm streaming gigs live on sort of YouTube, for example, suddenly there are a lot more people from different cities that are sort of actually catching me perform live. I played a band gig from Studio Island City, where so many people had never seen my band set. They never seen me play with the band because they were in different cities other than the sort of 3-4 cities that I end up traveling to. So I think that way it opens up a lot, and there is a bright side to it. And I think over time, once live opens up, it's sort of another revenue stream that you're adding to it, and hopefully it opens up soon.
Yeah, well, my fingers crossed, where that's concerned. We so desperately need it. And I always hope, and I just think, look, we're going to come through this no matter what. It may take a couple of months more, but we're going to get there. We're going to get there. How's your community going? I mean, I just think it's brilliant at the top of my, when I caught you guys by accident, it was early pandemic last year. And there were you happily sitting in this ice cream cone filter on Insta, having these incredible live sessions, very intimate sessions. And that really piqued my curiosity. And I believe that the cone community has grown since then.
Yeah, so I think it's not an Instagram live only anymore. While I do that, I think the concept became a little more stale, right? Like every night, if I sort of went on Instagram live, I think I got bored of it myself. So in fact, what we've done is we've sort of made it a workshop-based platform and community now. So essentially what happens is that we do about 2 to 3 workshops every month from different topics, right? Introduction to rhythms, anybody who wants to understand anything about the music industry, we try and sort of cover different topics. So in fact, tomorrow I have a workshop for releasing your music. What do you do after you have a song ready? Who do you reach out to, right? Do you reach out to Radio 1? Do you reach out to which other platforms do you reach out to? How do you get playlisted on songs? Because a lot of it is also marketing yourself, right? So there are different themes that we're doing, and essentially the idea of the community, apart from an Instagram live, is that the resources that you need to sort of accelerate your career in the music industry. If it took people 8 years, can you do that in 3 years to fasten the curve for them to the learning curve?
Yeah.
And access to information that's not so easily available.
Right. Well, that's perfect. I think, the music industry and especially the newcomers desperately need it. It's like already recognized. So how, excuse me, how can I make it into the industry? Have to talk about your newish single, is it? Unicorn and the Sheep? How
Yeah,
new is that?
yeah.
All right.
I released it in January. Yeah,
Okay.
uh, it's
It
fairly new.
is it is so delicate, it is so delightful, and you call your dream girl a unicorn and you are just the sheep. I think that's adorable.
Thank you. I mean, it was a sweet song. I wanted to write it for my girlfriend. So Unicorn is my girlfriend. The thing is, her name is Una. So I used to call her Unicorn, and I mean, I still call her Unicorn. And I thought it was just a dumb play on the word.
Yeah.
And then I wrote a song about it. And essentially, the idea was to talk about how uh, there's always a reacher and a settler in a relationship, right? And the concept of a black sheep,
Hmm.
right? I wanted to, and that happens in every sort of scheme of things, right? Like it's in a classroom, it's in a family, it's all of that, right? In a relationship. So I
Yeah.
just wanted to like take a dig at that, and it also has a lot of running references because before it got really bad, we used to run every day together,
Uh-huh.
and I'd be running behind her, and that's because
Ah,
she's fit of.
that is adorable. So she's the unicorn and you're the sheep.
Yeah.
Okay, or the unicorn. I'm hoping that the Gen Z boys play by those rules as well, and generally. But you do love writing about relationships and love. I mean, it's quite your thing, correct?
Not too much though. I like putting a spin to it. I don't like writing typical songs, which is like, "Hey, I love you." Like I've written a love song which is called "Boring, I Love You" in the past, right? So it talks about like how I could never write a song for you even if you wanted me to. Here's something uh, because I think I don't want to say a boring "I love you." So I think I try and find different ways to express that same emotion rather than writing a cheesy love song.
Okay.
Yeah.
To my Radio One listener, this is actually a Zoom call, and Raghav has got a backdrop of all kinds of books that he's been reading. What's your current read, Raghav?
So currently I'm reading No Rules Rules, which is the Netflix book. So not very very artsy, but it's really insightful for anybody who's looking to sort of understand how team dynamics work, of how you should structure teams and stuff like that. So like a little bit of my corporate side.
That's interesting. Let's have some fun. It's a game called Maybe, Maybe Not. Okay. But for you, I'm going to spin it a little. So I'm going to throw out a line or a sentence or a phrase or whatever. And you just have to say maybe, maybe not. And then you can probably go on to explain a little bit more with respect to your answer. You ready?
Okay, ready. Let's do this.
I'm India's answer to Billie Eilish's Ocean Eyes.
Maybe not. I feel like each artist is different and unique. I want to just carve my own identity, but I love Billie Eilish.
I was talking about the eyes.
Oh, okay. Maybe.
Oh, maybe. Okay. My favorite ice cream flavor is Raghav in a cone.
Maybe. Maybe. I think it's the yummiest.
Do you find that that's your comfort spot? Are you happy as there where you're, sourcing new talent and interacting with, with fresh sounds?
Yeah, I mean that's what I've really enjoyed myself in the last 1 year. Sort of working with so many fresh artists who can do so much more if they're just given the right sort of path to sort of tread on and shown a path that this is how you do it. It's definitely my mojo. I feel like whatever I sort of took so much time to do while I was figuring it out, if we can make that happen for younger artists, I think I'll be the happiest.
I love skinny dipping on a full moon night.
Maybe not. Not fit enough.
I didn't say there had to be an audience.
Maybe not. Not. I don't think I'd ever go skinny dipping. Yeah,
Too cold.
too good.
I have danced with the fireflies.
Maybe yes. one of these. Uh, yeah, I have for sure. It's I like going for treks and stuff like that. And one of these treks that we went to in Maharashtra, we had a blast. Yeah,
Yeah, it's quite magical, quite magical. My fangirls are the sweetest stalkers.
maybe because I get super nice messages and like super nice gifts when I'm playing gigs and stuff. So uh, it hasn't reached a point where it becomes uncomfortable. So till then, I think it's really nice and really sweet. Yeah,
I have crossed 1 million streams on Spotify.
maybe one of my tracks, City Life, which is going to be played soon, just hit 1 million views, 1 million streams on Spotify. So very excited about that, and hope you
That
guys enjoy it.
must be an incredible feeling though for an artist, right? To think that, oh my God, 1 million streams. I mean, so people around the world have listened to my song 1 million times. How does it make you feel?
For sure, it was great because when I was starting out, I never thought that while writing my music in English without a label, without any kind of support, I'd be able to hit 1 million streams on anything that I do. So yeah, it's fairly unreal.
Um, so what does it do for your level of confidence, Raghav? I mean, you think that, okay, here's something that people really, really identify in terms of sound and what I'm saying, my lyrics, all of that kind of thing. Does that excite you enough to say, look, I've got so much more to conquer. I've got to go out there over to the world and let them hear my music?
100%. I think city life was a big break for me in the sense that it started making me believe that there are a lot more people in this universe who would like to listen to my music. When before city life, I think I was catering to a very very small audience. Even though even now in the grand scheme of things, it might be small, but it just gives me that confidence that hey, there might be a lot of people from outside this country who would sort of identify with it because there are so many people who listen to my music in the US, the UK, Australia is a big market, Pakistan is a big market, Bangladesh is a big market. So I think those are the kind of things that sort of keep me going because there has to be some advantage of writing in English. You know what I mean? And that's what I've sort of realized that there's a way bigger market than just the Indian market that can be catered to with my kind of music. And in fact, the next song that I'm releasing is with a Swedish label in October. So we've been sort of chatting with a bunch of international labels, and that's what we're doing in October, where a Swedish label is releasing the music internationally. So
Wow,
that
that's
should be
fantastic. Fingers crossed
yeah.
where that's concerned. And finally, your last, maybe, maybe not. I own a Harley.
Maybe, but by association. My girlfriend's dog, and he's the cutest, and we become really close in the pandemic. It's a lot of fun. It's crazy how much research you guys have done. It's awesome.
So, yes, then you own a Harley, kind of, co owners.
Harley Davidson Yadav is his name.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Now, you were in Delhi for a bit last year when I spoke with you. I think you were being spoiled by your mom, and now you're back here in Maximum City. This city tests you on, Mumbai city tests you on every level, doesn't it?
For sure, it's the hardest city. I've lived in Delhi, Bangalore, Hyderabad, and now Mumbai. And Mumbai is by far the hardest city because it's just, especially if you're a sort of musician and that too an indie musician trying to figure it out. It's a really sort of hard career to choose, and nobody has time for you in the city. Real estate is really expensive, right? There's a lot of sort of competition for what you're trying to do for anything that you do in the creative space. Yeah, so it kind of tends to suck your soul unless you sort of just sort of. I feel like if you don't keep looking back and see where you what you've achieved, I think that's really important to do, to just take a step back and just think about what all has happened to you in your life.
Mhm.
um, yeah, but otherwise it becomes really difficult. I had a really it it gives you crazy highs but also gives you crazy lows, right? And I've
Okay.
been through that myself. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Let's lighten it up a bit. What's been the upside of going bald?
The upside of going bald is that when you go swim at the beach, it's amazing, right? Like I went to Goa in December and I just couldn't believe it. Like every time I walked into the sea, everybody's just struggling with their hair, and I remember that feeling. And in this case, there was nothing, absolutely nothing. It was absolutely fantastic. But just how low maintenance it is, it's amazing. It
All right.
gets your fans angry, but it doesn't matter. They'll get used to it.
Okay, so it's hard to plan for like a whole year ahead, being what it is. So, what's in the pipeline over the next few months for you?
So I try and keep myself as busy as possible, and the idea is to sort of release about 7, 8 tracks a year. I'm done with 3 for the year. In fact, I just finished my first Hindi song, and that's going to be out. I think we're just trying to figure out the post processing of it, but from a writing perspective, I'm all done. So that should be out in the next 3, 4 months. The other big release is the one I was talking about. It's a song called Cold Cold Night, and I'm done with it. The production's done with it, but because we're in the middle of the summer, we're waiting to release it in October. Uh, so October 10th is the date that we've chosen. Apart from that, I think a couple of more collaborations is what I want to do. But at the same time, sort of build up the community more to make it a more formidable force. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's the
Oh,
idea. Couple
well,
of
busy,
songs there.
busy, busy. That's good. So, coming to the song City Life, which has been a favorite with us, the video, captures everyday life here in Mumbai City. The video was a bit of an experiment as well. So, talk to us a little bit about that before we get into the song.
Yeah. So I think it's a really special project because I think I wrote it when I was feeling the lowest about Mumbai and how sort of difficult it is as a city. And I didn't write it in Mumbai. I wrote it in Kunur, although where I'd gone for an artist retreat program, and for 15 days over there, I just wrote it over there. Um, and I came back, I showed it to one of my closest friends who's also a filmmaker. He said that I've been sort of dabbling with the concept of shooting on film, which is like a Kodak Super 8 camera, which basically
Right.
means no retake, nothing.
Yeah.
And we were like, let's do it. So we just went around the city for about 7 days, nearly got arrested in the meantime. We were shooting at 3 o'clock in the middle at night on train stations with cops chasing us at a Parsi restaurant where we nearly got thrown out. And all of that stuff happened, but it was the best shooting experience because it was as DIY as it gets. And then he sent it to Berlin to develop because apparently nothing, you can't sort of develop a Kodak film in India, which is on a video, this particular video camera that we had. And ultimately, I sat on it for 4 months, and then the lockdown happened, and we were just like, this is the perfect time to release a video like this because earlier it was just a montage, and now it stood for so much more because everybody was missing being out in the city and the hustle bustle. Put it out, and it just sort of got a lot of traction, and
All right. Let's get our listener to sample City Life then, as we say thank you for being one with Indie today. Raghav, please stay safe and please stay well. And I hope to see you on stage sometime soon, fingers crossed. Let's sign out with you introducing City Life for us.
so, City Life is a song which talks about the hustle and bustle of a city, where a lot of us don't get the time to stop and think about our lives, and we're sort of just going ahead and chasing sort of these absolutely shallow dreams that nobody really cares about. So, I think this pandemic's given us this time to sort of sit at home and think about our priorities and like sort of take care of ourselves. So, I think that's the most important. Listen to the song, and I hope you like it.
Thanks, Raghav.
Thank you.